Hi, my name is Amy Pavlina. Today I'm going to walk you through part 1 of Unit 4, Day 11 to 12, Federal, State, and Local Government for Social Studies, Grade 4, Unit 4. So the first thing that we're going to notice in this introduction is that you're highlighting for students how can they organize what is the power of the federal government versus the state government, and then what is in between. So one way that they have you do this with Passport as an introduction to the lesson before students go off to independent work is through sorting. And as you're sorting, you need to give students an opportunity to sort. So one way you can do this is by creating a Jamboard. I'll show you what I mean. So if you open up a new tab and you come into your waffle over here, you're going to scroll down until you see Jamboard. Then you're going to hit plus for a new jam. Now you have this nice blank Jamboard. You could go about this two ways to get your picture on here. I like to make the background from the slide. So I'm going to go back into my presentation and I'm going to come over to this lovely slide where it says Introduction Model. And I could change the type if I want to, but I think I'm going to keep it the same. If you wanted to change it, you could change it to whatever you want by clicking on this text box. And you could cover up Introduction Model because it's not allowing you to erase it when making a copy. Change the background color to the same color. And now you can write over it. So I'm going to write sort and get it just how I like it. So now that I have the slide exactly how I want it, I'm going to click on that slide and make sure that it's highlighted. So as you can see, number 12 is highlighted. And I'm going to come up here to File. And I'm going to go to File and go down to Download. And I'm going to make a JPEG of the current slide only. So see how I'm coming over here to current slide only, JPEG image. And now I have a picture saved of just this slide. Watch what we're going to do now. We're going to come over to Jamboard, set our background to add image. And I just drop that JPEG into my slide. And now I can have students come onto this slide and they're not going to mess up my background. They're not going to mess with my boxes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the boxes that the lesson gives you for students to sort. So if we come to slide 11, we see print and coin money, set traffic rules, protect public health, declare and engage in war, hold elections, maintain an Army, Navy, or Air Force. And you can go about this two ways. You could either make a sticky note and put a bunch of sticky notes with all of these different ideas on there for students to sort, or you can do a picture that you're taking of each prompt for them to sort. So let me show you both ways. The first way would be make a sticky note and you look to see what it says. Set traffic rules, for example. So you type what you want and hit save. And now you have little stickies that you could put to the bottom for them to sort. And you can make it smaller, bigger, however you wish to have it. If you want to actually copy and paste it, which I think is a little bit faster, you would press the Windows key, Shift S, if you're on a Windows computer, and then you just make it however size you want it. I just go around the box, and now I have a picture, and I'm just going to do Control V, and I could resize it and put it down at the bottom for students to sort. If you're on a Mac, you can do Shift Command 3 and you'd get the same outcome. So let's try that again. We're going to come over You're going to come to where you want to take a section of the screen as a picture, and you're going to press your Windows key, Shift S. If you're on a MacBook, it's Shift Command 3, and you just come over to your Google Jamboard and you just do a Control Paste, and you get your next one. So I'm going to do this for all of them, and then I'm going to show you how you can set it up for students. So now that I have all my selections for students to sort at the bottom of my screen and resized, I can now either use this as one Jamboard slide, or I could duplicate it to have students work in small groups as we start this lesson to kind of gauge what do my students know about the federal government versus the state government and what kind of blends in between for both. So I'm going to come up here to expand frame bar. And I'm going to come up to these 3 vertical dots and click them, and I'm going to duplicate it. So in my class, I have 4 groups for reading and 5 groups for writing. So I'm going to go with my reading groups for social studies, and I'm going to keep them together to work in breakout rooms. So I have now my 4 slides, and I can label them. And I'm just going to put a little Post-it, and I'm going to put group 1, come to my next slide and put group 2. I'm going to do this for all of my groups. So now that I have each slide labeled with which group is going to work on that slide, I'm going to name my Jamboard to day 11, whatever you want. I'm just putting this for my own self to work with. And now it's relabeled it. And now to put this into a chat, either with Zoom or Google Meets, I'm going to come up to my share button over here. And I'm going to unrestrict the link. So I'm going to change it to anyone with the link can edit. And now I could copy that link. Maybe I'm putting this into my Google Classroom, or maybe I'm dropping the link into a Meet or into a Zoom meeting, or maybe if I'm working in person in the classroom, I'm going to change this to a QR code for students to scan to meet with their group on a sheet of paper. So now that I have my link, I could share it anywhere, and I'm ready to go with this. After your groups have gone and done this either in the classroom or in a breakout room, you're going to come back to the lesson for day 11, part 1. And what I like to do, even though this is independent work, I like to compare it with students just so I'm really focusing in on what were your answers as a group. Why did you make those answers if something's different than what they have on their slides? So they could really speak to it and explain their reasoning. So it allows for students to really have that autonomy in the classroom, that they're being able to speak to their reasoning as to, well, why did you put it there? Maybe they just put it there because they didn't know where to put it. And then you could go into, okay, why would the state hold elections versus the federal government holding elections? And really have students kind of form that rich discussion before they're going off during independent work time. I hope that this has been a helpful way to engage your students in collaborative work before going off to independent work for day 11 for Unit 4, Passport to Social Studies, Grade 4.